Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to be talking to you about what it takes to own a Kangal, everything you need to know about owning a Kangal. I'm also going to be talking about the Malakli as I have both. They are very similar, they do have their differences, but I will go through that when going through each topic. That's the boy, that's the Kangal, that's Muda. But all of this information I've compiled through my own experience and also through talking to people who own the dogs so that I could get the most accurate representation of what it is like to own this breed. None of this information you can find online. I know this because I was desperately trying to find out these things before I got my dogs. So make sure you watch because these things are really important to know. Before I even go into anything, I'm just going to say, if you've never owned a dog before and you're considering about getting a Kangal or Malakli as your first dog, do not do it. Just don't. I literally cannot stress that enough. Don't even think about it. Just completely take the idea out of your head because it's gonna be catastrophic for you and the dog and everyone around you. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is, do you have the space for one of these dogs? Because you cannot keep this dog in your backyard unless it's a big backyard, and when I say big I mean at least half an acre. So we have one Kangal, one Malakli. This is the Kangal, that's the boy. The Malakli is a female. We live on roughly 2 acres of land, and sometimes they look big here, so having the space is really crucial. I know this as well from experience because when I first got Muda, which is the boy, I lived in a small house with a small medium garden, and when I tell you I struggled to look after him, I literally cannot emphasize that enough. I spent 6 hours a day between 12 different walks walking him. So the first walk would be about 8 in the morning and the last one being around 12. And this was every single day. You cannot take a break because these dogs were obviously made to roam. They evolved over thousands of years to become the perfect athlete, and their energy resource can literally go on forever because that's what they were made to do. So when you take a dog like this and you lock it in a house or you lock it in a garden, it's going to go insane because it wasn't made to be in that situation. So it will cause a load of behavioural issues. It will cause a load of issues with it bonding with you too, because it's going to be stressed, it's going to be unhappy, you're going to be unhappy, you're going to hate the dog because it's going to ruin all your stuff. Trust me, I had a lot of fallouts with Muda when I was living in that house because he just was awful. He's just... So... Sorry, he's just looking at me. I can't even focus right now. They're amazing dogs, but if you don't have the space, I'm saying if you have less than an acre of land, or let's say even if you had half an acre, that is the bare, like, look how frustrated he is, like, look how much he wants to go outside. See, like, even now I've brought them inside and they're like pacing around. Like, he's like, what are you doing? Why am I here? Yes, I love you too. But I'm not saying that they don't like spending time with you inside. They do. Like, they'll love coming in and sitting with you and having a cuddle. They do enjoy the look, I have a little kitten. Muda, gentle. Good boy. Oh God. Oh God. Good girl. This is something that you will face every single day. I don't know. if you can appreciate how annoying it is to have a frustrated dog that's so massive, like crying around your house, but it is really annoying. Yeah, it is annoying. It is annoying. I know, it is, but it is annoying. I love you too, but it is annoying. Oh my god. Look at me. I'm trapped right now. So if you plan on getting a Kangal and leaving it alone in the garden in your house, you've got to be prepared to be black and blue, because as soon as you get back, that dog's going to be all over you. It's going to be biting you, jumping on you, because it's been sat there all day with its energy accumulating with no outlet, and you're the outlet, because you're the thing that changes. You coming home is the change in this dog's day. So it's going to be so excited, so happy, and all that energy is going to come out on you. And these dogs are so big that you're going to get hurt. I was black and blue when I had Muda in that house, and I took the time to walk him. I spent every minute of my day with this dog. I put everything into him, but it wasn't enough, because, and that wasn't my fault and it wasn't his fault, is because this is not a pet. And you can't treat a Kangal or a Malakli like a pet. They're not domestic. So you cannot treat a Kangal or a Malakli how you would treat a German Shepherd or a Cane Corso or a Mastiff, for example, because these dogs are not obedient. I'll say it till the day I die, but you do not own a Kangal or a Malakli. You have a partnership with a Kangal. You have a partnership with a Malakli. And this is because these dogs are so fiercely independent. That's what they were made to be. Independent, rely on their own instincts to survive. They didn't need any human intervention. So when you take a dog like that, which is very wild, of course, you're going to have issues keeping it in a domestic type situation. So these dogs need a job, they need space, they need purpose, otherwise they are awful. You take a dog which is potentially amazing and you make it into something which is actually quite dangerous. You and the dog are both going to suffer if you are going to try and keep it in this situation, because having a dog like this, building its energy up all day on its own in a confined space, it's literally the complete opposite of what it needs, of what it was made for. So yeah, space, absolutely crucial. Do not get a Kangal unless you have at least half an acre of land, at least. So yeah, the next thing I'm going to talk about is diet. So Kangals do really well on a high carb diet. That doesn't mean to say that you shouldn't feed them meat as well, because you should. But obviously they are shepherd dogs, so access to meat is very limited when they're working. So they rely on mostly, porridge, bread, things which are easy for the shepherd to carry around, So I feed my dogs with porridge, so that's oats with water, not milk, and raw meat. So they have about 3.5 kilos between them every day, if not 4 kilos. So they eat 3 kilos of meat between them, and then the rest is the oats. So we just mix the oats with the raw meat, and it kind of becomes like this kind of sloppy meat oat paste. They love it. It's really good for them. Their health is incredible. They have good skin, good hair. So yeah, they're in really good shape with this diet. We do also give them vegetables, like Muda, he loves broccoli and carrots. The other thing is that you have to feed them at a regular time every day. So we feed our dogs not in the morning, but we feed them at 2:00 in the afternoon, and then we feed them about 8:00, 8:30 in the evening. And this is how they work. They do really well with this. All dogs, not just these dogs, need regular feeding schedules. It's a lot better for their health. It's good for their mental health. It's good for their physical health. To have a routine is very important for humans, dogs, most animals. So yeah, you also can't be faint-hearted when it comes to the raw meat, because they do need it. I will never ever ever condone anyone feeding their dogs on just kibble. So yeah. The next thing I'm gonna touch on quickly is shedding. Kangals actually don't shed that much. They do maybe 3 big sheds a year, the biggest one being in the summer, because obviously they have a very thick undercoat as well as their top coat. So you would be surprised at, for how they look, they don't shed as much as it might seem. My dad's girlfriend, for example, she is very allergic to animals. She was all right with the Kangals, with the Malakli. She was okay because they don't actually shed that much. They do shed, anything with hair sheds, but they're not too bad with that. Zuki, the Malakli, she doesn't shed as much as Muda. She does shed, but it is limited for both dogs. And now for the controversial topic about training. I don't care what anyone says, you cannot train a Kangal. You can't. Malakli, they are a lot more susceptible to training than Kangals, because Malakli are, of course, slightly different dogs. So you will train a Malakli easier than you will train a Kangal. They are more obedient, but the Kangals are a lot more wild than the Malakli, and you cannot train them. All these videos that you see of people training recall and stuff like that, it is complete rubbish. And I can tell you that with like full confidence. If you put a Kangal in a field that's closed off, there's no distractions, like there's no people on the other side, there's no other dogs, and it wanders off and you call it back, yeah, it might come back. Not any dog would, right? I promise you, if in that field there's another dog on the other side, it's gone. Your dog is gone. Your Kangal is gone. Same for the Malakli. You should never, ever, ever let these dogs off the lead, ever. Unless you're in an enclosed space and there's no one else, no people, no dogs around, okay? This is like for the dog's own good and for everyone else's own good, okay? So if the Kangal sees something on the other side of the field and it decides it's going to go and see it, it doesn't care if you're saying, no, come back, oh my God, blah, blah. It literally does not care. It's gone. And no amount of training, obedience courses, trainers, there are no trainers. Anyone who claims to be a Kangal trainer is a fraud, because you can't train Kangals, period. Anyway, a German Shepherd, right, might see a dog on the other end of the field, and if it has a recall command, you can stop it in its tracks. But a Kangal, you're not going to stop it. You're just not going to stop it. These dogs, like I said, they are independent dogs. They relied for thousands of years on their own thoughts, on their own instincts. So if it thinks it needs to go check out that dog on the other end of the field, it's going to go. It doesn't care what you say. In its head, it's looking after you, it's looking after itself, and it will already have seen the space that it's in as its own territory. So as Kangals mature, they become dog aggressive. This is just in their nature. There are exceptions, always, but mine and every other Kangal that I know are not good to bring around other dogs unless they've grown up with the dog, unless they are very familiar with the dog. But you cannot trust a grown Kangal with another dog in a random situation. So you can teach a Kangal, for example, sit, paw, lay down. My dogs do that, if they want to do that. They do it, but I mean, my point is, Muda knows, they're very clever. Muda knows stop, he knows wait, he knows come, he knows jump up. But so if he's going off somewhere and I'm like, Muda, wait, sometimes he'll wait. But if he's dead set on where he's going, he's gone. That's actually something I love about them, because they're just like, you know what, I think I should go, so I'm going. And you will never train that out of them. It's in their DNA, it's literally in their nature. So you can't expect an obedient, trained dog from a Kangal. If you want a dog that's going to do what you say every time, then you need to think about getting something out. Like I said, Malakli are a bit different. Zuki, she comes 80% of the time, you know, she's, well, maybe 90%, she's good. But if as well, like if she wanted to go for something, if she had her head on it and you tell her to stop, she's not going to stop. So with German Shepherds, they have like an immediate stop command if you train them. The Kangal is physically impossible to do that with. The other thing is protection training. If you want a Kangal for protection, you are very, very misinformed. These are not protection dogs. I am going to be making another video on this because these are not protection dogs. These are not personal protection dogs. These were not made to protect humans. They were made to protect sheep, goats, cows, whatever, right? So their instinct is not to be aggressive to humans. So when you take a dog the size, strength, loyalty of a Kangal or a Malakli, and you start making it human aggressive, is literally a recipe for disaster, because that dog is now confused, and a confused dog is a dangerous dog. Okay, it is literally so irresponsible to take a dog like this and start training it to be aggressive towards humans. You cannot take a dog like that in public, but you can't just keep that dog at home. So it's just an awful idea. And if anyone out there tells you that you can train a Kangal or a Malakli to be a protection dog, then they are not true owners. They are very ill-informed, and they are having bad ulterior motives for having these dogs. I do not condone it. I actually hate these people. So please, if you are looking for a protection dog, get a Malinois or get a Doberman. Get a dog which was actually bred specifically to do that purpose, because the Kangal and the Malakli are way too big, way too powerful to have any mishaps with, and it won't take many bad occurrence to get them banned in every single country, any country, you know. So yeah, I will make another video on that. I won't go too much into it now. But anyway, my next point is, of course, walking them. You can enjoy really nice walks with your Kangal. You can take them hiking. They're going to absolutely love it. But again, it has to be controlled. You have to have some sort of control. So if you are going to take it hiking, for example, get a 30-meter lead that you can quickly grab onto if it decides to dart off, because if it darts off, it's gone, and it's going to be very, very, very hard to find again. If you have an active lifestyle, a Kangal and a Malakli are absolutely brilliant dogs. They will very happily accompany you on all your voyages because they love it. They love roaming around. They love the freedom. But of course, you have to do that responsibly because they are very wild animals. And yeah, so walking them in public can be very difficult. I always describe it as a military operation to take either of my dogs out. Zuki I don't take out at all. Mood I trust a lot more than her. I know him better than I know her, so I have more confidence to take him out, but I'm very thoughtful of where I take him, at what times I take him, and I always have a plan. If I do come across another dog, I'm always walking next to a lamppost or something I can quickly grab onto so that I can hold him. You know, it's things like this. And it's kind of really, if you want a dog that you can take out in public and you're not going to have any problems, don't get a Kangal, don't get a Malakli, get a Mastiff, you know, if you want a big dog, get a Doberman or something. But the Kangal and the Malakli, they are very, very difficult. And whilst you do see videos of them in public, I can assure you they are very short-lived and it's very rare. And everyone I know with a Kangal is completely on the same page as me with this. So yeah, the thing is as well, what you have to remember is, even if you are really careful when you take these dogs out, there are a lot of dog owners that are not careful, and they are irresponsible and they are ignorant, and they keep their dogs off the lead without a recall command. And it's happened to me a lot of times. I always have my dogs on the lead, but someone has their dog off the lead, it comes over to us. I don't need to go into detail about what happens, but you can get a pretty good image of that in your head. And when people don't have recall commands for their dogs, it can lead to, you know, really bad things happening. So just bear that in mind, because you're not going to stop a Kangal or Malakli. It doesn't matter how strong you are, if it's, so keep that in mind too. But as well, you have to think about insurance, because they are very expensive to insure. They are about £130 each, so we pay roughly just under £300 a month to insure them both. And then of course their food every month costs about 130, let's say 150. So every month we are paying roughly £400 just to maintain these dogs. So they are a huge responsibility financially as well as every other way. So you need to think about whether you're prepared for that financially as well. As you know, these dogs are huge. The Kangal is big, the Malakli is even bigger. So they're both about 85 centimeters at the shoulder at the moment. Zuki is going to get bigger because she's only 1. Muda may gain a little bit, but he's 2 years old, so they start growing around 2.5 years old. So Muda weighs about 75 kilos, Zuki's about 85 kilos. They are very different in structure. Their overall appearance, they kind of look similar, but they are actually really different. Suzuki has much bigger bones. She's much more bulky, whereas Muda is very slender. He's got a very clear shape on him, and Zuki is like a big block. Muda is very elegant. He's very light on his feet. He floats when he runs, but Zuki is like, you can hear her coming a mile away. She's so heavy. They take up a lot of space, so if they're going to be in your house, good luck. The next thing is, if you have a family and you want a Kangal or a Malakli, then good choice, because they are exceptional with children, both breeds. I would trust both my dogs 100% to be left alone in a room with a child or a baby. Even if that kid's poking its finger in their eyes, they're going to lose the eye before they tell that kid off. So, of course, like with any dog, you need to introduce them. But generally speaking, and I'm speaking personally about my dogs, I 100% trust them. With my cat, with children. I have a Sphinx, for example. She's actually this big. She's 2 kilos, 2.5 kilos. And they're so good with her. They're very gentle with her. Zuki's a bit heavy-handed. I do have to keep a bit of an eye on her. If you already have a dog and you want to get a Kangal or Malakli, you need to get it as a puppy. You cannot introduce a Kangal adult or a Malakli adult to an adult dog. It's unfair for your current dog, and it's unfair for the new dog, because the fight for dominance will be extreme and it's just not going to end well. Introducing puppies, easy, it's like any other breed, but you must be aware that when they mature, they are going to fight for dominance, especially the Malakli. They are the most dominating breed in the world. They are so incredibly dominant, and they will go to great lengths to achieve that dominance. So if you have quite a dominant dog, don't get one of these dogs, because it's going to suffer. If you have quite a laid-back dog, then by all means get a Malakli, get a Kangal, but you have to think about the personality compatibility, because it is very important. So when I got Zuki, Muda was 1 year old, just over 1 year old. Zuki was 4 months old, and I swear Zuki was already, as soon as we got her out of the car, she was already fighting him. She was already establishing her dominance, and she was still big. She was still very big then, like, over 30 kilos, or maybe 40. I can't remember, don't quote me on that, but she was still fighting him with all she had for that dominance. And Muda was kind of like, guys, what have you done? What is this thing? Why is it so angry? So yeah, no, be very careful with that. So these dogs need to have a job. They have to feel like they have a purpose, otherwise they're just unhappy. So if you have livestock, then that's absolutely perfect, but not a lot of people in the UK get these dogs like for them to be shepherd dogs. So if it feels like it's protecting your property, then that's a great thing, because you're essentially the livestock now, and it's protecting you and your land. So yeah, they are really good guard dogs. So if after everything I've said you're still thinking, okay, a Kangal is right for me, a Malakli is right for me, great. So what you need to do now is find a reputable breeder. Make sure that you can look at the dog's lineage, its parents, its grandparents, as far back as you can go. Make sure that you're not getting a dog from a fighting bloodline, because you're gonna death sentence. Make sure you get these dogs health checked, or the parents have been health checked, and the seller can provide you proof of this. Look at the hips, the elbows, and look at the temperaments. An experienced breeder, a trusted breeder, should give you a dog not based on the look, based on the temperament. So if you're going and the first thing you say is, I want the biggest one, that breeder should tell you to walk away, because you are not getting that dog for the right reasons. Okay? Your breeder that you're getting this dog from, they should ask you why you want the dog, where you're going to keep the dog. Basically, they need to vet you. If they don't vet you, don't get the dog. You need to boycott people like this, because they need to stop breeding these dogs. Full stop, okay? They need to know, they need to ask you like what the dog is going to be used for, and they need to give you the correct puppy according to what you want it for, like, and according to your lifestyle, basically. They shouldn't just give you a dog. Anyway, I hope I've covered everything. I probably haven't, because my brain goes in like 1,000 different directions every time I start talking, because I have just so much to say about this. But I hope this has helped. If there are any more things like that you'd like to know, do feel free to comment, and I will answer every single comment. And I will be posting some more videos, like going into more depths about certain things. So if there's anything that you would like to see, like, do feel free to ask. But anyway, I hope whether or not you get a Kangal or Malakli, that you do end up with the right dog, and I hope that you are happy with whatever you end up getting. And if you just watch this for educational purposes, you're welcome. I hope this was educational, and stay safe and take care.